Are you allowing your thoughts to lead you, or are you leading your thoughts? And there is a difference, because what happens is we often let our thoughts lead us, meaning whatever thoughts pop into our head, which is just a very normal thing to happen, we run with them. We feed them. We get curious about them. We want to explore them more, no matter how they make us feel. We start letting the thoughts be more powerful. They're not, but we allow them all this power to just take control and guide us, lead our thoughts, lead our focus, lead our actions, and ultimately run our lives. We're just letting these thoughts be in charge. And that is not how you are designed to be. You are designed to decide what you want and lead your thoughts through your choice of who you want to be. We are not taught how to do this. This does not feel natural when you start thinking this way and trying to shift this way. It feels weird. It may be confusing. So that's okay. But it is your natural way of being. So once you kind of recognize this and start practicing it, you'll see that you actually start flowing a lot better with life. And so it means that sure, you're going to have thoughts pop up that you don't like, that are telling a story that doesn't support what you want, that are making you feel insecure and questioning yourself. Like, those thoughts are going to come up. But instead of nurturing them, nourishing them, asking more questions, diving in, letting them take you away on this like mental escapade, you just say, no, this isn't who I want to be. This isn't what I want to focus on. I don't want this to be important. I don't want this to be more of what I experience in my life. I recognize that it's here right now in my mind, but I don't want to make more of this. And once you recognize that you actually have the power to shift, it's really empowering. It feels really good, and it doesn't feel so difficult. It's not that your thoughts are ever in control. It's that we feel like we just don't know what to do when our thoughts start taking us in a direction we don't want to go. So here's what you do. You say, hey, I see you, and I'm choosing something different. And the thing is, like I said, it's not going to feel natural at first, but once you start practicing this, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are changing your neural pathways, and you are retraining yourself to think in a new automatic way. So that means you are filtering out that habit of thought from your experience through the repetition of choosing a different thought. And something that I personally experience is like ruminating and catching myself, halfway through a ruminating story in my mind. And the key here is that it doesn't matter if I was ruminating for 10, 15, 30 minutes. I just notice when I notice, and I stop it. And I just say, no, I don't want more of this. I don't want to continue perpetuating whatever feeling I've created through these thoughts. And I have the power to actually focus my attention somewhere else. And that focus can be a mental thought. It can be a physical action. It can be, for me, I find just physically getting up and leaving the room. It's like you're crossing a threshold. You're leaving those thoughts behind. Even if you come back in that room a minute later, 10 seconds later, just getting up, shaking it off, and coming back and starting fresh. That is shifting. It's telling your mind, hey, those thoughts aren't important. Hey, we don't focus on that. There's other things that we'd rather be doing and focusing on and giving our attention to. Other things we want to nourish and nurture and grow in our life. And that is not it. Those feelings, those thoughts, those fears, not important. And so it is practice, right? It takes practice to shift how your mind thinks. But that's what you're designed to be able to do, is to say to yourself, I choose where my focus goes, and I don't like where it's naturally going, so I'm going to shift that to create a new natural. And any change is going to require focus, it's going to require attention, it's going to require intention until it becomes the automated, natural, normal way of being. And they say it takes 21 days to build a habit. It takes 21 days to myelinate, to insulate a new neural pathway. So it takes that amount of time to make it the highway of thought. And every time you catch yourself thinking in a way you don't want to be thinking, and you say, dropping it, not even finishing the story. That's the thing. Don't let those thoughts lead you for another second. You take the reins. You're in charge. You lead it in a new direction. You are teaching your brain, you are literally rewiring your brain to stop thinking that way. But what happens is we get really fetched up in the awareness that we're thinking a certain way. And because we notice we're thinking that way, we feel out of control. We feel like, oh, this again, like I don't want to think like this, but it's happening. And then we just let it take the lead. When you recognize that you're thinking that way, that's the crucial moment that you actually get to decide what you want to think. And just because it was automatic up until then doesn't mean it's still in charge. You get to just immediately take charge and decide. And so something I notice too is a lot of the time with people when I'm working with like mindset coaching is we'll talk about like, okay, instead of thinking this, like what would create a better cycle of thought, a feeling, an action, and outcome instead of the habitual, having all these anxious thoughts, feeling overwhelmed, getting stuck in this cycle and feeling trapped. Like what would you rather think that would get you where you want to go, such as coming from a feeling of empowerment so that you take action, so that you get the results you want? What thoughts would help you feel empowered and take action? And a lot of the times people want to basically argue with the thought pattern that they're having. They want to negate it. They want to say like the opposite and convince themselves that that thought isn't true. So maybe they're like feeling anxious about someone not liking them. They're just convinced their boss doesn't like them or something. And so the next thought, the preferable thought that they're trying to come up with is, well, instead of worrying if they don't like me, I can say, no, they do like me. They have to like me. They must like me. I'm just crazy, No, I'm wrong. They like me. And it's just feeding into that same story, and it's trying to convince yourself to feel something you don't feel. So I highly recommend dropping the thought completely and just choosing a thought, no matter how random or unrelated to what you're thinking, that gives you the feeling you want to feel and leads you in the direction you want to go. So instead of trying to convince yourself your boss likes you, and deep down you maybe don't believe that, you just shift your focus completely away from trying to argue around the thoughts that are coming up, because they're not in charge, you're in charge. So you decide maybe to think instead like, I've done some really amazing things. I'm actually really smart. I've had success in my career. I'm really good at a specific thing. I'm really good at life. I am so happy to have the family that I have. Oh, I'm so lucky to have the partner that I have. It could be completely unrelated to the situation, but you want to get into the feeling of empowerment. Whatever makes you feel that empowerment, that confidence, that safety, that worthiness. So that's the gist of changing your thoughts, right? And I use hypnotherapy because in hypnotherapy, we go to the root of where those thoughts that are automatic are coming from. And when we do that, we get to understand kind of like what purpose they're trying to serve, why they're perpetuating this thought pattern you don't like. And that's like why it's become automated, right? It's automatic. It's coming from a deeper part of you. So we figure out what that automation is so that you can really just like let it go very quickly and like wire in and create that new habit a lot faster. Because instead of just working on a conscious level, which is all good, like there's nothing wrong with just working on your thoughts consciously throughout the day, retraining your focus. But on top of that, when you do hypnotherapy, you are going deeper beyond just the instruction you're giving your subconscious mind through repetition. You're actually getting at the root of the problem and letting that go too. So that's not to try to push hypnotherapy on you, but just to give you a more complete idea of like how this could all work for you and what tools are available to you. But day to day, I even practice this still, is like I catch myself thinking in a pattern in a way that I don't like. And there are times, I'm human. There are times where I feed into it and it's always just like, why did I do that? Why did I feed into a thought that doesn't feel good? I have the power. I get to decide. And so try again. Next time it pops up, choose a different thought. We're here just practicing life, right? So there's no need to be upset with yourself. If it hasn't worked until now, it doesn't mean it can't work today, tomorrow, in next 2 seconds. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some opportunity to practice and allow things to shift and change. And you will notice in time that your thought patterns shift the more you claim the power that as soon as you are aware of a thought, you have the power to change it. Okay, if you want to work with me, either with hypnotherapy or mindset coaching, just book a free consultation to chat. Otherwise, I am wishing you the very best. Take care.